The council chamber floated in the void between stars, a massive structure built by the oldest races in the galaxy. Inside, representatives from 40 different worlds gathered in a circle, their forms ranging from crystalline beings to floating clouds of gas. They had maintained peace for 3,000 years through talk, negotiation, and compromise. The human representative stood alone at the center. His name was David Cole, and he wore the simple gray uniform of Earth's diplomatic corps. Around him, the alien voices buzzed with dismissal. "Another border incident," said the Tralvan ambassador, his 3 eyes blinking slowly. "These things happen in space. Perhaps humanity should reconsider settling so far from your home world." David's jaw tightened. The Vrex didn't stumble upon our colony. They burned it from orbit. 5 million people, gone in 3 hours. "War is such an ugly word," the Kelrath representative floated forward, her gaseous form shimmering purple. "The Vrex are a proud people. Surely compensation can be arranged." "Compensation?" David's voice remained steady, but something in his eyes made the nearest delegates step back. "You want us to accept payment for murdered children?" The Vrex ambassador, a massive creature covered in thick armor plates, laughed. It sounded like rocks grinding together. "Your species is young. You do not understand how the galaxy works. The strong expand. The weak adapt. This is the way it has always been." "The Council has spoken," the Tralvan ambassador declared. "Humanity will accept a trade settlement from the Vrex. This matter is closed." David looked around the chamber, at faces both alien and indifferent. "Then Earth withdraws from this council." He turned and walked toward the exit. Behind him, the aliens whispered among themselves. They had seen species leave the council before. Usually, those species disappeared within a generation, absorbed by stronger empires or fading into obscurity that no one expected what came next. On Earth, Admiral Lisa Park stood in the command center buried deep beneath the Atlantic Ocean. Screens covered every wall, showing the positions of human ships across dozens of star systems. She was 50 years old, with gray streaking her black hair and scars on her hands from her time as a fighter pilot. "The Council has refused us," she said quietly to the officers around her. "Begin Operation Tempest." Across human space, warships that had been docked for repairs suddenly launched. Merchant vessels revealed hidden weapon systems. Mining stations in asteroid fields activated long-range missiles that had been disguised as drilling equipment. Humanity had been preparing for this moment since the first human colony ship left Earth orbit. The Vrex celebrated their victory in the capital city of their home world. Their emperor, a creature twice the size of his warriors, sat on a throne made from the bones of conquered species. News of the Council's decision had just arrived. "The humans know their place now," he growled to his generals. "Prepare the fleet. We will take 3 more of their worlds before the season ends." His intelligence officer, a smaller Vrex named Kral, shifted nervously. "My lord, our border stations report unusual movement. Human ships are approaching in large numbers." The Emperor laughed. "Let them come. We will crush them as we crushed their colony." But Kral's voice grew more urgent. "My lord, it is not just ships. Our listening posts near human space have gone silent." All of them, simultaneously. The laughter died. Light years away, Captain James Raid stood on the bridge of the warship Relentless. He was 35, with cold blue eyes and hands that never shook. Around him, his crew worked in silence. They had trained for this. Humans always trained for war, even during peace. "Target acquired," his weapons officer reported. "Vrex Supply Depot, designation Alpha 7. "Fire," James said. The Relentless unleashed hell. Kinetic rounds traveling at a fraction of light speed tore through the depot's shields like paper. Nuclear missiles followed, their warheads tuned specifically to overcome Rex defensive technology. In 40 seconds, a facility that supplied an entire Vrex battle group simply ceased to exist. "Jump drives ready," the navigator called out. "Next target," James ordered. The Relentless vanished, leaving only debris and radiation behind. Across the border, 20 human fleets executed the same maneuver. Vrex military installations exploded. Communication relays went dark. Supply lines collapsed. Within 6 hours, the Vrex had lost 30% of their forward military infrastructure. On their homeworld, the Emperor stared at reports flooding in from every corner of his empire. Impossible. Humans were supposed to be weak, diplomatic, civilized. How? He roared. How did they move so many ships so quickly? Kral's voice was barely a whisper. "We underestimated them, my lord. They have been planning this for years. Every merchant ship, every mining operation, every diplomatic visit. They were all reconnaissance." The Emperor's claws dug into his throne. "Send our main fleet. Crush them." "My lord," Kral hesitated. "The humans. They fight differently than anyone we have faced. They do not follow the rules of civilized warfare. They strike without warning. They target civilians and military alike. I did not ask for excuses." The Emperor bellowed, but even as he gave orders, more reports arrived. Human forces had penetrated deep into Vrex territory. They moved like ghosts, striking and vanishing before reinforcements could arrive. Vrex warriors, bred for 1,000 generations to be fearless, began to feel something they had never experienced before. Fear. Asterisk. The Vrex main fleet assembled near their primary military base, a fortress moon that had never fallen in 800 years of warfare. 3,000 warships formed a defensive wall around it, their weapons charged and ready. The Vrex commanders felt confident. Humans might strike at undefended targets, but here they would face true military might. Captain James Reed studied the tactical display aboard the Relentless. The Vrex had positioned themselves well, creating overlapping fields of fire that would tear apart any attacking force. His officers waited for his orders. "They expect us to attack directly," James said, "so we will not give them what they expect." He turned to his weapons officer. "Launch the pods." From human ships positioned at the edge of the system, thousands of small objects ejected into space. The Vrex sensors detected them, but dismissed them as debris or decoys. They were wrong. Each pod contained a simple device, a chunk of iron the size of a car, wrapped around a small engine. No weapons, no shields, no crew, just mass and velocity. The pods accelerated toward the fortress moon, reaching speeds the Vrex had thought impossible for anything larger than a missile. By the time the Vrex commanders realized what was happening, it was too late. The kinetic impactors hit like the fist of an angry god. Each one carried the force of a nuclear weapon, but without radiation or electromagnetic pulses that shields could deflect. The fortress moon's surface exploded. Weapon platforms vaporized. Docking bays collapsed. In 3 minutes, the pride of the Vrex military became a field of drifting wreckage. The Vrex fleet scattered in panic, their formation breaking apart. That was when the human ships appeared. They came from every direction at once, using jump drives in ways the other species had never imagined. Human engineers had pushed the technology beyond all safety limits, accepting casualties from drive failures as an acceptable cost. The Vrex suddenly found themselves surrounded. "Target their engines first," James ordered. "I want prisoners." The battle lasted 4 hours. When it ended, 2,000 Vrex warships floated dead in space, their crews trapped inside without power or life support. The remaining 1,000 had surrendered. Asterisk. Across the galaxy, the Council watched in horror. The Kelrith representatives' gaseous form turned a sickly gray color. This is barbaric. The humans are violating every convention of civilized warfare. Perhaps, the Tralvan ambassador said quietly, his three eyes fixed on the tactical display. But they are winning. The Vrex Emperor received the news in his throne room. His generals stood silent, unable to meet his eyes. His entire main fleet destroyed or captured in a single day. Impossible. Unthinkable. How many humans did we kill? He demanded. Crow checked his datapad. Estimates suggest 12,000 human casualties, my lord. 12,000? We lost 300,000 warriors. The humans. Kral's voice shook. They use machines to fight when possible. Unmanned drones. Remote weapons. They risk their own lives only when necessary. And when they do fight in person, they do not retreat. They do not surrender. They simply keep coming. The Emperor's rage faded, replaced by something colder. Fear. What do they want? They have broadcast a message to all VREX worlds. Kral activated a holographic display. Admiral Lisa Park's face appeared, her expression carved from stone. People of the Vrex Empire, your leaders murdered 5 million human beings. They believed we would accept this because we are new to the galaxy. They were wrong. She paused, letting her words sink in. We did not come to the stars to conquer. We came to explore, to learn, to live in peace with our neighbors. But we learned long ago, on our own world, that peace only exists when evil men fear the consequences of their actions. Her eyes seemed to look directly at the Vrex Emperor. You will withdraw all military forces from human space immediately. You will pay reparations to the families of those you murdered. And you will surrender your emperor and his generals to stand trial for their crimes. The Emperor roared, Never. I will burn every human world to... Or, Admiral Park continued, as if she had heard him across the light years, we will continue. We have identified 63 major Vrex population centers. We have the capacity to destroy 3 per day. We will not invade your worlds. We will not occupy them. We will simply erase them from existence until you comply. The hologram showed a countdown timer. You have 48 hours to decide. The transmission ended. The Emperor looked at his generals. She is bluffing. Humans cannot be so ruthless. But Kral pulled up historical files, data that human merchants had freely shared over the years. Information the Vrex had ignored as irrelevant. My lord, human history is filled with wars. They have fought each other for millions of seasons. They have destroyed their own cities, burned their own lands, killed billions of their own kind. They call it their greatest shame. He looked up, his eyes wide with terror. But it also means they know exactly how to wage total war. They have practiced it on themselves for thousands of generations. Silence filled the throne room. In the council chamber, representatives from 40 worlds argued frantically. Some demanded intervention. Others suggested letting the Vrex and humans destroy each other. A few quietly recalculated their own defensive capabilities. The human seat remained empty. On Earth, David Cole stood in Admiral Park's command center, watching the tactical displays. Will they surrender? Unknown, Lisa said. The Vrex have never lost a war. Their pride might not allow it. And if they refuse? Lisa's expression did not change. Then we do exactly what we promised. We are not bluffing, David. We tried peace. The galaxy chose violence. So we will give them violence they will never forget. David nodded slowly. The council is terrified. Half of them think we are monsters. Good, Lisa said coldly. Fear keeps the peace better than friendship. Let them fear us. Let every species in this galaxy know that humanity can be a generous neighbor or a terrible enemy. They get to choose which. The countdown continued. Across the galaxy. Ships changed course. Trade routes shifted. Military forces repositioned. Every species watched and waited. The Vrex had been one of the strongest empires in known space. If humanity could bring them to their knees in a matter of days, what did that mean for everyone else? In his throne room, the Vrex Emperor stared at the timer. His generals waited for orders. His people waited for leadership. The galaxy waited for his decision. He had 48 hours to choose between pride and survival. The storm had been unleashed, and the galaxy would never be the same again. Asterisk.